up? Greetings, everybody. This is Mike, aka Mr. Legit Hustle. Y'all know me, your homie, your brother from another mother. First and foremost, thank you for checking me out, for being here rocking with me. Could have been anywhere else on the internet, on YouTube, but you're here watching my content, so I just want to thank you. I also want to ask you something. Do you have a dream or goal that you feel driven to pursue? Or maybe you're like me and you're already deep in the pursuit of your dream or whatever that goal is, and you like a little motivation and direction in overcoming the challenges that you face. You know, sometimes we doubt ourselves. Sometimes we get afraid of failing. Or maybe you just need some inspiration from time to time. Well, I want to encourage you to never allow yourself to fall victim to discouragement. When you choose to pursue a goal or a dream in your life, know that you're going to get met with opposition and challenges. It just comes with the territory. But there's too much at stake for you to quit. And if you're like me, then you've come too far and through too much to ever give up on that dream or that goal. So, I want to invite you to grab one or two or all of my legit motivation presentations. You can watch the videos on my Legit Motivation podcast on my YouTube channel. And if you see one that you like, you can download the actual slide presentation that I developed and used in that video. That way, you can review the information in depth at your own pace. Now, each slide presentation is packed with factual, reputable, and verifiable information from reliable sources, as well as the game I've learned in 46 years on this realm. So head over to my Legit Motivation podcast on YouTube or go to legithustle.com. Presentations are free, but if you'd like to support the channel, then you can donate there as well. Whether you do or don't, the presentations are yours to keep. Plus, you'll get a special bonus offer on all of my products and services when you download your first presentation. So head over to legithustle.com or look for the link in the comment section of the video that you like. Alright? Again, thank you for rocking with me. Enjoy the rest of the show. Peace. All right, so in this sales system that I'm going to be showing you today, and again, it's free for you to get a copy of it on legithustle.com. Step one is the greeting, right? Now, the greeting is very, very, very important. It's been said that you only have 15 seconds to make a first impression. You know that? Within about 15 seconds of meeting you, a person has already decided in their minds or not whether they like you or not. You have about 15 seconds when you first meet someone for that person to decide whether they like you or not. So naturally, the greeting has to be very, very, very important, right? This is your chance to make the person feel welcome and comfortable, to set a positive tone for the entire sales process, and build rapport. Now, if you've ever bought an automobile from a salesperson, this is how that probably went. You pull up, you get out your car, some chubby guy comes walking over to you, And the first thing he says is, "You ready to buy the car?" That's how they go, right? He says, "You ready to make your first down payment?" Is that what they say? Nope. That salesman is going to say something to you to greet you and make you feel comfortable and hope you get comfortable enough to talk to him. So odds are a good salesperson's greeting has nothing to do with what they're trying to sell. Hey man, I see you got that hat on. Now you a Bulldog fan? All right, I see you. Ain't that more like what a salesman does when they approach you? Hey man, I like that shirt you got on, brother. Ain't that normally what that feels like? They'll come right at you and start trying to ask you about down payments and how much money you got and you ready. If they approached you like that, would you continue talking to that salesperson? No, you're probably gonna be irritated and ready for them to get the hell on. They too pressured. They're too much pressure. They're too pushy, right? So you have not known this, perhaps. Every time you've encountered a professional salesperson when you were buying a car, they were greeting you that way because they have been trained on how to greet someone to make it the best possible sales experience, and the most likely outcome is they get a sale because they're using a sales system. You, as perhaps an untrained salesperson, just didn't know that. See? So the greeting, that's the first thing. Now, after your greeting starts what's called pre-qualification or a need discovery. So what that salesperson is going to start doing after greeting you, kicking the shit with you, making small talk, chopping it up with you for a second, get you comfortable. Y'all got a good rapport going. Ha ha ha. Ooh, ooh. Talking shit about football, man. Y'all Gators ain't got nothing this year. Whatever the conversation is, right? He done got you comfortable. She done got you comfortable talking. That was the whole goal of step one. Now, step two is to start discovering what that person actually needs and qualifying them to see if they can actually get it. So this conversation starts to go like this. So what brings you in today? I see you looking at that Hellcat right there. Yeah, that look like you. That look like you, don't it? You think that person is just saying those things just because they don't know what else to say? No, they're pre-qualifying you. They're finding out what it is that you need or want. Because if you tell me what you need or want, you just told me what to sell you. So while it's happening and it's friendly, and if you're a professional, if you're a good salesperson, you'll know what I'm saying is true. You know that you're operating and following a specific sales system, but it doesn't mean you're not genuine in the things that you're saying to the person. You see, yeah, you're following a sales system, but what makes you a good salesperson is that it's authentic and you do it so smooth, a person never even know that's what you do. But it don't require you to be fake. You don't have to manipulate nobody. Don't try to have a football conversation with somebody you don't know nothing about football. Just because you think that what you need to say to sell a car, you're going to come off like a goofy. They're going to know you don't know nothing about what you're talking about immediately, just like you would know. Right? So when you do these types of things, it helps you to be authentic about what you're saying to the person, or you're going to make them not trust you because it's going to come off like bullshit. You and I have all experienced that in different situations when we were the person buying something. The person is too pushy. They saying stuff that's kind of cheesy. You feel like they trying to butter you up or blow smoke up your ass. You've been in that situation before. And you knew what it was, didn't you? Even if the person didn't say it, you picked up on it. So when you are the salesperson, you have to be aware that you can communicate to someone something without saying it. And if you fake, if you lying, you're going to communicate that to someone. So when you get into these steps, be authentic about it. Don't be fake. It's legit hustle, not fake nigga hustle. It's legit hustle. So be legit about what you're doing. Be you. Don't say something if you don't mean it. Don't get nobody a compliment you ain't sincere about. You can't think of one, wait till you can. That's how you do that as a salesperson. Because if you start blowing smoke and thinking you're going to talk some game, you're going to run them off. You'll never have a successful career. Because real salespeople know that they can communicate things to you without saying it verbally. Because they're using sales systems and they're trained. They know what questions to ask. So in the pre-qualification stage, some of the questions you might ask is that car right there paid for? Now, why would the person ask you if your car is paid off? They trying to see if you traded in. Do they have to pay something off, or can they just give you the cash value for it? Have you ever financed a car before? Because if that car is not paid off, that means you're still making payments on it. So it's likely that you can buy a car and get financed for it because you already have. So there's a reason why they're asking you these types of questions and why you need to ask people very specific types of questions at this point. If you're a barber or a hairstylist, during your consultation phase, when you're asking the person about what they want their haircut to be, this is what you're doing. You're discovering the need. You're pre-qualifying them. What if that person wants a look you know that their hair isn't capable of achieving because they're showing you a picture and you thinking, bro, that ain't even your head shape. You see your hair texture? If I give you that cut, this shit gonna be, you know what I'm saying? As a barber or a hairstylist, you know that. And you address those in the consultation stage. That is the same thing as this. But do you have a system of doing it?
I'm afraid it's nothing.
Can you do it the same way every time and get the same result most of the time? That's what makes it a system. All right. This stage, step 2, it's not about selling them anything. It's about finding out what they need or what they want. Now, the slideshow, if you get a copy of this, is going to say need. But which one do you think drives people purchasing decisions more, needs or wants? If you think it's needs, then America wouldn't be in debt and most of us wouldn't be in fucking debt because we'd only spend money on what we need. Wants drive purchasing far more than need. As logical adults and responsible individuals, we know that need should be more important than want. But in reality, in the business world, if you operate in it, you know that wants are stronger than needs, though. Until you to the point where you can afford the need like food, then it takes over, right? But before you got so broke that you couldn't feed yourself, you probably was buying a bunch of shit you didn't need, but you wanted, right? So even though this is going to say needs, it works with wants too. So when you're talking to a person in step 2, you're supposed to be discovering what it is that they need or want, because that is what's going to tell you how to sell whatever it is you're selling to them, right? So next is step 3, the product presentation. Now, after you done had a good greeting with them, y'all have a good back and forth, good conversation going on. You did a little bit of pre-qualification, so you know a little bit about exactly what they're looking for, what they need, or what they want. Now is where you start to match that person with the right thing. You come onto the car dealership lot. I, as a salesman, approach you. I see you looking at the Scat Pack. You ain't walked from around that car since you got here. That should clearly tell me, if I'm a salesman, that's what he wants. What kind of fool would I be to come over here and be like, hey man, let me show you this Durango over here, when my customer is telling me that he wants this, right? Without saying a word, body language tells me, oh, that's what he wants, right? The reason I'm saying that is because it's important, especially at this stage, that you have identified what is the person most likely to purchase, so that you show them the car, the scat pack they keep walking around looking in and out the windows on. Instead of taking them over there to show them a Durango, they ain't look twice at it. You got to match the person with the right product or the right service. If you're a nail technician, you having a conversation with a person, why are you going to go over there and show, I was going to use, let me not use that example because I don't want to get into people's sexual orientation. And they was about to go there. Hey man, rock whatever you want on your fingers. If you want some gel nails, hey man, do what you do. Never mind, we gonna move on. But y'all get the point. I'm pretty sure you get the point. Never mind what I was gonna say. Use your imagination. But anyway, yeah, man, this is what you're doing now, right? So you're making sure that you're presenting something to them that they want. Now, a smart salesperson at this point, a decent salesperson, is they know he wants the scat pack. They pre-qualified him enough. I mean, he's driving something that kind of tells you, yeah, he probably can afford to buy that car. What's the next step? The presentation, the demonstration. What do? You want to take it for a spin? Hell yeah. Now you're on a test drive, right? From the customer's perspective, unless you're in sales, you don't know that this person is guiding you along a sales system. Step 1, 2, you're at step 3 or 4 in his sales system. And he knows that if he can get you to step whatever the final one is, that means he just sold a car. So his job is to keep moving you through the steps of the sales system, not say a bunch of shit to you that you think sound fly or running game. That's not how sales works. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of talking yourself out of something? Ask anybody in sales if you can talk yourself out of a sale. Because we probably all have done it at least once. You can talk yourself out of a sale. I've had people that was pretty much saying everything but, nigga, will you please get this damn money from me and take this and give me my shit? And guess what I was still doing? Trying to convince them to buy it. And they were trying to give me all the signals that they was ready to buy it. You can talk yourself out of a sale. The best way to avoid things like that is to have a system so you know what you should be doing. And if you're following that system, you know you ain't got to keep talking. Just keep moving them along the system, right? So you're on the test drive. Yeah, get some gas, man. Hey, man, let's go right here and get on the interstate so you can open it up a little bit. Specifically with automobile sales, they do that so that you emotionally connect to the product. That is the purpose for a test drive, to get you hooked on it emotionally. That is the sole purpose of a test drive. Nobody, be honest with you, nobody gives a shit if you know about how many cylinders it has or how long the warranty is, unless you asking about it. We care about getting you, the customer, attached to this product emotionally. So every time you hit that acceleration, that salesman can tell you, man, give it a little more, give it a little more. Yeah, hook yourself a little more, hook yourself a little more. That's what he's really saying and doing, because he's following the sales system, right? Now, this helps the customer. If you're good at sales and you're doing it properly, the customer's going to feel like you listen to them. They're going to feel like you know exactly what they want, because you do, because you asked them and they told you. You see? So it's not no manipulation in it. You do understand what they want, and you're showing them what it is that they want or need, because you did the other 2 steps. You greeted them properly and got them to talk to you. You pre-qualified them good enough that you showed them the scat pack and not tried to sell them the Durango because the price was higher and you'd make a higher commission. That's stupid. Good salespeople don't operate that way, right? I'd rather have a $100 commission check than a 0 check. If I try to show you the Durango and you clearly want the scat pack, I'm not going to get a sale anyway. So even if I was going to make less money on that car, I'm going to sell it to you because I'd rather have that than try to sell you the Durango that you don't want and make nothing. So real professional salespeople don't try to push you on something necessarily because of the commission. Unless they think, if you like that one, let me show you the upgraded version. Now that is more of what you want. They're not going to try to put you on something that you clearly don't want for a commission. If they do, they're not a salesperson, and they probably won't be selling much longer after that. Okay, so none of what I'm talking about requires you to ever be dishonest or to ever try to manipulate someone. You can do all of this and totally be authentic, honest, and have integrity and morals. And every one of us that have been in sales know that that's true, especially the ones who have been in sales for a long time, because the way you build longevity, the way you build your business is by having people to continue to buy from you. Not once, but continually over time. That gives you longevity. Are you going to continue to keep buying from someone that's trying to manipulate you? And you're not going to do that. So if you do it genuinely with some morals and integrity, you're much more likely to have longevity in it. So most people that you meet in sales that have been in it for an extended period of time will tell you, if you come into the game trying to lie, trying to hustle people in the way they typically think of the word hustle, you ain't gonna have a career. You might get a paycheck or two, but you won't have a career at it, right? So for the sake of you as a hustler, a business owner, entrepreneur, do it the right way, do it the ethical way, because that's gonna give you longevity in the game, all right? Let's keep it pushing. All right, step 4. I just did all that talking about the demonstration being a test drive. This is a very teachable moment, because in this system, now it's getting to the demonstration and the test drive. And so rather than edit this out of my video, I'm going to tell you that I stepped out of order in the process. Now I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't need to read this system to know how to sell somebody something. I could do it off of experience. So I got ahead of myself because I'm not following this to the T. A lot of what I'm telling you off of experience. All right. So I don't even feel bad about it. I'm going to use it as a teachable, coachable moment. Yeah. A lot of what you see me doing. Yes, a lot of people know I use AI mostly for graphics and things like that. But what you hear coming out my mouth, the machine didn't tell me to tell you. I'm kicking this to you live. And in that situation, I got ahead of myself because this isn't a sales system that I've used. I just developed this for the presentation. But what I'm telling you ain't coming directly from here. I'm kicking this out the top. And hopefully that'll be a reason that you'll trust me and come back to receive more game, more information, because this is authentically me, right? I've done this. I authentically do this. So I don't necessarily have to follow my notes. So I got a little ahead of myself. So when you get the presentation from Legit Hustle, you'll notice that step 4 is actually the test drive. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that. So after you demonstrated the product to them, showed them what it could do, let them get emotionally attached to it. Step 5 in the sales process may be a little bit shocking to you. Most salespeople have used sales systems. I will go so far as to say the vast majority of us have in the past, even if we're not currently or didn't every single time. And 9 times out of 10, every sales system that we have ever used as a salesperson included a section like this: handling questions and objections. Did you know that professional salespeople train on how to handle your questions and your objections? We literally train on it. Sometimes that training includes things like that we would do in insurance. In insurance, we would train by role playing with each other in front of a camera. Our supervisors would train with us by role playing with us in front of a camera. So the way we did our presentations inside someone's home, which was a memorized script, I had to memorize a 7-page script. They would go through the whole thing. That 7-page script usually took me it would take about an hour to go through that entire sales process. But if you've been there an hour, there's a good chance you're going to make a sale, right? So the sales script that we were using in this particular agency was a manuscript that we had to memorize. But when we had to train, we would train with our supervisor or sometimes other agents, and we would have entire sessions where we throw objections at each other. But what about this? I ain't got the money. I don't get paid till next month. I'll come back. Just think about it. Did you know that the people at the car dealership literally anticipate and train for all the things that you could say to stop that sales process from moving forward? We literally train that way. Did you know that? If you're trying to sell hair care products, haircuts, cars, shoes, whatever, have you role played even with yourself enough to anticipate how to handle objections or questions or concerns that a person may have in order to get them to purchase? See, you don't have to be dishonest with someone. Just be prepared to answer the questions that they could ask you. You don't have to manipulate someone. But guess what? Sometimes when people give you an objection, it does not mean, no, I don't want to buy. I'll give you a perfect example. I used to sell shoes at a point back in the day in Atlanta at North DeKalb Mall at Richie's. One of the things that you learn in sales, sometimes people say no because you're not showing them the right thing. You might get all the way up to the point of showing someone a shoe, and when you ask them if they want it or they want it in a certain size, they say no. So you put the shoe down. What if I told you that sometimes they're saying no to the color? So a good salesperson would know to say, what about blue? You think you like to try it in a blue? And guess what happens sometimes? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let me see the blue ones. Right? You know why? That person didn't know you had blue ones. They ain't out here on display, or maybe he overlooked them. He didn't see them. So if you didn't ask him that question, he wasn't saying no that he wouldn't buy some shoes. He was saying no, he didn't want to get those. They were brown. But a good salesman doesn't let no mean, no, I don't want to buy nothing. They're going to throw another one at you. Okay, what about the low tops? You think you like to try the low tops? They come in low tops. Heck yeah. You want to try them? Yeah, man, let me see the low tops. They might even fit better with my jeans. But if you didn't let them know that was available, then you're assuming that that customer knows all the options that are available. So what you did in your sales process might not have been that you didn't sell correctly. Maybe you just going back to the original step, matched them up with the wrong product. But you only learn how to do that, especially on the fly in real life situations, when you practice it. So as an entrepreneur or a hustler, can you handle questions and objections when people raise them up? Because everybody ain't just going to listen to your spiel about your product and just say, yeah. Some people are going to challenge you. They're going to ask you questions. Some people are very, very technical. And if you're selling something that requires technical knowledge and you can't answer that, hey man, how many horsepower per liter does that V8 get? Now, you're not a car person, but you sell cars. You ain't got no idea what he just asked you. He might be the kind of person that you need to have that kind of technical knowledge with. Right? So customers are going to have different types of questions to ask you. The better prepared you are to handle them, the better of a salesperson you're going to be. And guess what? Because you handle that section properly, should it arise, then you move on to step number 6. or step number 6 in this system, which is closing the sale. Now, again, anybody who has been in sales that sees this, you'll know exactly how important closing it is. Because a lot of people don't make sales because they never ask the person to buy it. Did you know that? So, babe over there snoring. Don't worry, the mic ain't picking you up. You fine. I already checked. So, the close. This is the moment that you clearly and confidently ask for the sale. A lot of sales never happen because the salesperson doesn't ask. Did you know that? If you're working for yourself and you just now starting to realize, or you want to, and you don't have a sales system, or you never heard of a sales system, or even if you got a lot of experience, you can clearly see how important asking someone for the sale is. How do you ask someone for a sale? First, the question is very direct, but it doesn't have to be, you ready to buy it? Let me give you a real smooth shoe salesman close. What size can I get these? If you answer that, let me get a 13. At this stage, this ain't the try on demonstration stage. This is when you're asking for the sale. You've already done all that. So if you say, what size you want me to get these for you? That person, if they agree to it, psychologically know that they're agreeing to buy it. But you didn't ask them to buy it. You said, what size can I get these for? Or something like that. The reason I'm bringing that up is there's no specific question to ask someone to close a sale. You just have to ask. If you don't ask, don't be surprised they don't buy it. You will never be, you shouldn't be surprised, but you probably would be at how many times sales don't get made because the salesman didn't ask. And the reason why I said you shouldn't be surprised is there are probably times that you have experienced it. Let me give you that example. Ladies, any ladies that watch this, there been a time where a dude approached you, y'all had a cool little interaction, and he walked off and didn't even get your phone number, and you kind of wondered, dang, he ain't even gonna act. He might have assumed that you wasn't feeling him. Y'all just, it's a little something, so he just kept it pushing. Not even realizing, dang, she would have gave me a number if I'd asked for it. You ever had something like that happen? Well, you would have did something if the person had but they ain't say it, so you pull back too. Same thing happens in a sales situation, believe it or not. A lot of times, because salespeople, it can be intimidating to ask a person for a sale. It can. And that's coming from somebody with sales experience, because this is the moment of truth. This is to see if you did a good job going through all these other steps, because this is where you find out either it's working or it's not. Either I did it good or I didn't. And that makes the close a very high pressure moment a lot of times. There are times when I have to close a sale and I still get nervous about asking for it. It's just something about it. I still get nervous asking for a sale at times. And I know this. I'm the one talking about it, but I still get nervous sometimes for various reasons. Maybe this is a very important client I'm trying to get. Maybe, man, my bills is due and I need this sale so bad. Boy, I got to pay. Oh, I need it. It'd be a lot of reasons, but there are times when asking for the sale is not going to be easy, but you have to do it. If you don't ask, don't be surprised when a person doesn't voluntarily just give you their money, okay? So ask, close the sale. Step 6. Step 7, the follow-up. Yes, following up is part of your sales process. Why? Because it keeps the relationship alive. Everyone should have a contact list for the people that have purchased anything from you. Why? So you can keep the relationship alive after the purchase. That increases the likelihood that they're going to come back and purchase from you again. What's a follow-up? An email every so often, or a text message. Or a discount coupon in the mail. Whatever. Long as you make contact with that person and say, hey, you know what? You came in, you supported my business, you supported my dream, you supported my goal. I haven't forgot about you. Thank you. I hope I see you again. That's a follow-up. That builds a relationship between you and that person. This is how you get repeat business. By following up, it also helps you get referrals. Anytime you make a person feel appreciated, when do you think that'll be a negative experience for someone? You make your customers feel appreciated and valued, they're more likely to refer people to you. And those of us that are in business or work for ourselves already, we know the value and the power of having a referral system. Following up is key to your long-term growth, your ability to be stable. Again, at Legit Hustle, I'm not talking to nobody about making some money one time. That's not a legit hustle. That's not a legit hustle. It's legit when you can sustain it, when you can repeat it, and you can do it again, right? So, yeah, be legit, man. Handle your business. So, in the slideshow, there are some key takeaways, some reminders. I wasn't gonna go over them because I don't want this video to end up being too long. But I guess I can. All right, so key takeaways. The power of having a sales system. 1, consistency. Having a sales system ensures that you have a uniform and reliable approach in every sales interaction. No matter if it's raining, the steps stay the same. It don't matter if customer black, white, Asian, the steps stay the same. You know what I'm saying? It helps you be consistent every time. Also, it gives you customer insight, right? It helps you be able to analyze information about your interactions with customers and what their needs are so that you can find better solutions or better ways to do it. That's the power of having a system. You start to know how things should go. Maybe how customers would like it to go, right? But you can't necessarily make those observations and adjustments if you don't have a system to do it through. It makes your selling much more natural. You're not guessing about what to say. You're not guessing about what to do. So therefore, because you ain't trying to figure it out on the fly, what should I say next or what should I do next? Nah, you already got a game plan. So it makes you be able to sell in a much more natural way. And anytime in a sales situation, you can be authentic and not be pushy, you increase the likelihood of being able to close the sale. Nobody likes pushy salespeople, but everybody appreciates dealing with a good salesperson. When you have a good sales interaction with a person, you know they're selling you something. Hell, you went there to buy something, for real. Even if you weren't planning on buying it that day, you were thinking about it, planning on it. But when you have an interaction with a good salesperson, not a person good because they can persuade you, a good salesperson because they were very natural at it and they were authentic and you knew it. Y'all just vibing. Yeah, they selling you and they answering your questions, but you enjoying that interaction. That's a good salesperson. And when you can be natural when you're selling, you help that interaction feel that way. And that person not only leaves having bought something, that person leaves your business or your website or your establishment having enjoyed buying. How likely are you to go back and buy something again if you enjoyed buying it? And you enjoyed buying it from that person. If I go over here, I might not enjoy buying it. But I know if I go see this guy or this gal, I'm going to enjoy buying it again. How likely are you to go back? You see? It also helps you maximize your revenue. Having a sales system allows you to look at what's working and what's not. If I can't get my customers past step 3 of the sales system, I need to address the first 2 steps. There's no need to worry about the last 3 or 4 because nobody's getting there in the system. But if you don't have a system, how do you know what's not working? You don't know you're on step 3. You don't have a step. You're just winging it. You're trying to freestyle, right? But if you got a sales system, you can fix this, you can tweak that. That helps you maximize your revenue. That helps you maximize how much money you can actually earn or generate doing this, right? The other area is having a sales system allows for or helps you in your professional growth, right? One of the ways it helps you, once you get a sales system down, like let's say again, automobile sales or insurance sales. When you are proving yourself as a salesperson, guess what you end up doing a lot of times? Training new salespeople. When they hire someone new, a lot of times they're going to have their top salesmen be the ones that train them. You think you do that for free? No. So even when you're working for yourself, the better you get at selling, guess what that's probably going to mean? You're probably going to need to hire someone because you're doing a good job at getting customers. Now you need some help dealing with all the customers. So you hire somebody else that now they doing what you're doing. Now you can do something else that needs to be done and you can do that better. You might have to spend less of your time on the sales floor and more of your time doing the technical work to focus more of your attention and efforts into other areas that are also vital to your business, right? So that's one of the ways, as I said, that having a sales system helps you grow professionally. And if you're working for yourself, if you know you out here doing content creation or whatever you're doing on your own, that professional growth also means you should be growing revenue wise, right? You should be growing sales wise. You should be scaling. You should be growing, right? So that's the way that having a sales system really, really, really benefits us as hustlers, as entrepreneurs, as small business people, anybody that depends on being able to convincingly argue a point or persuade someone morally and ethically, as always here at Legit Hustle. But anyone in that position, be you in administration or whatever your position is, the ability to sell and having a sales system for doing it is extremely powerful. Okay, so again, you can grab a copy of this exact system, sample system that I'm using for this presentation at legithustle.com. All right. We're getting into the last sales, right? SALES, sales. That version of the word sales refers to the number of products or services that are sold, right? This is again where market share comes in as a factor, because remember, market share is the percentage of people in your available market who have actually purchased something from you, right? So naturally, the number of purchases, the number of sales, be it products or services, is extremely vital, not for you just to be able to track the numbers, but in order to know how to actually grow your business. how to actually scale your business, right? Products and services sold, that number is directly equal or related, not necessarily equal, but directly related to the revenue that your business or your hustle or your grind or your gig that it generates, right? That's how you pay your expenses, out of that revenue. Now, this is taking out the fact that you may have lines of credit, you may have a loan, you may have some other form of financing or investment that allows you to cover the business expenses. If that's the case, then that part of the equation doesn't necessarily apply to you. Not that you can't benefit from it or that it's not necessarily true, but you have other means with which to cover the overhead of your business. So I'm primarily structuring this and directing this toward people who are doing this maybe off of their savings or out of just whatever money they have, if they have any, right, to get started doing this. So there are, of course, other factors, but it still holds true, right? So your revenue covers the business expenses, and that is a direct relationship to your profit, right? Naturally. Nothing complicated, right? So why is it important that we go over the number of goods and products sold in this presentation? Because that's such a obvious connection, right? Most people, when they get into business, when they start doing things for themselves, we tend to focus on the end result. We tend to focus on the, let's say, profits, how much money we make. But going back to not only having a sales system, but tracking metrics from sales promotions, like market awareness, market share, those are the factors that contribute directly to the overall success of your business, as small as that may seem to actually monitor and track market awareness, right? And market share. It is. Even if, let's say, you don't necessarily have exact numbers. Even if you don't have exact numbers, let's say, for example, going back to the, the example of the lemonade stand. Let's say you don't have a means of calculating the exact numbers that you need to, let's say, gauge either one of those, right? Market awareness or market share. But if you're selling lemonade and you can observe that most of the people who, for example, work at shops and businesses on the north side of the park that you're selling the lemonade in, going back to your original example, right? If you can observe that the majority of those people are coming from that side of the park, you don't have to have exact numbers to know that I could probably increase my market share if I spent most of my time over there on that side of the park, right? You don't have to necessarily have exact numbers. But if you know that, for example, that's one example of just observing ways that you can expand your market share. What about ways that you could observe to expand your market awareness? Let's say you move your lemonade stand to the north side of the shop where most of the people are buying it. Well, how is it going to grow? Because you're not going to grow off of the people who are already buying it. So market share at that point isn't your focus. Market awareness should be your focus, because that means I have more people on this side of the park who are likely to buy my lemonade. So I have to make sure I let as many people know, as many businesses, as many pedestrians that I can on the north side of the park. That will increase my market awareness. And because for some reason, whatever it may be, those people tend to buy the lemonade more, that logically should also naturally raise your market share, right? So you don't have to necessarily manually track those metrics and have complicated systems. It helps to. The more effective you can make your marketing tracking, the way you track analytics and get your data, the more effectively you can do that. Yes, it makes it easier to pinpoint exact things that you need to work on, tweak a little bit in your marketing efforts, right? But if you don't have that, again, something as simple as a lemonade stand, understanding those two metrics means you don't have to necessarily track all the data. You can observe, but you got to know what you're looking for. What are you observing? And for a lot of you all who may see this, that's really probably just common sense, right? But did you know that common sense observation that you could make on your own is actually a very important marketing metric that you need to be aware of without knowing the exact numbers to it, okay? So before we close out this episode of Street Money TV, I want to tell you, please do not be a shade tree hustler. What's a shade tree hustler? When we say the word shade tree, it's usually not a compliment, right? If you call someone a shade tree mechanic, that's usually not really a compliment, right? It doesn't refer to a person who likes being a mechanic under the shade of a tree. It means you kind of janky, shady, you might get ripped off, they might not fix it, they might keep your car for 6 months, whatever, you know? So don't be a shade tree hustler. What do I mean as a shade tree hustler? Legit hustlers respect the game. Respect the game. What do I mean respect the game? If you're gonna play the game, play the game, right? Bring that down to a more common level, more street level. You know why snitches ain't respected? Because a snitch signed up to play a game, and then when they don't like the outcome of the game, they tear the whole game up. As if they didn't know the possibility of the outcomes when they first start playing the game, right? And that's what I mean, respect the game. Whatever you're doing, whatever you out here doing to be this legit hustler that we're discussing being, developing, becoming, if you're going to play the game, play the game. That means learn the rules to the game. What comes with learning the rules? Learning the rules means that you practice, you study the moves that you can make in the game, how you can make moves, etc. When you want to learn how to play chess, what's the first thing you have to learn? The moves that the pieces can make. You don't start off learning opening strategies and all kind of gambits. You don't start off learning that. You start off learning what can the piece do? Where can the piece go? All right? So with any game that you learn, basketball, football, anything, spades, there are rules to that game. So if you're going to play the game in this hustling, making money on your own, being self-sufficient, if you're going to do that, and that's the game we call getting money, but this legit hustle, so I'm not talking about making illegal money, I'm talking about doing it the right way. If you're going to do it, fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't play with it. Respect the game. That means learn the rules. Take time. Study. Read. Do things like you're doing now. Get different views and inputs and perspective on people that's in the game. Learn from people like me and others who are out here presenting genuine, true information about whatever the game is they're playing. Go get that knowledge. As the scripture said, seek knowledge as hidden treasure. You be soaking up all the game you can, all the rules and knowledge and steps and strategies in whatever the game is that you're playing. And in our era today, the modern era, this information is so readily available, you can get it from most places for free, like YouTube or websites, blogs. Social media kind of sucks, but there is still some credible, relevant information on social media platforms. So you still, you get some there too. Soak that up. Take that in. Learn the rules to the game and then play the game. Do it. If you're going to do it, do it. Don't try, do it. I didn't say don't try to be successful. I said don't try, do it. When you get up, you don't try to walk. You just walk. The first time you got to try to walk, it didn't work so good, did it? You had to learn how to keep your balance on both feet. You had to learn how to keep your balance on one foot as you move the other foot forward. You had to learn how to walk one step at a time. But now that you've been walking for a while, you don't even think about it. But you still walk one step at a time. So as long as you're taking a step, you're walking. As long as you're continuing forward, you're walking. As long as you keep moving forward once you start on this journey that you signed up for, as long as you keep taking steps, bigger, little, sometimes it's going to be leaps, sometimes it's going to be, you might have to backtrack a couple times on that journey. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you'll have to backtrack a couple times, right? But you're still walking. You ain't trying to walk, you're just walking. You got to back up and go around a boulder, an obstacle, a snake in the road, whatever. You're still walking, you're not trying to, right? So don't be a shade tree hustler. Don't try, do it, man. Learn the game, learn the rules, right? And I believe still in the concept of each one teach one. So for me personally, at Legit Hustle, I'm also gonna say, and once you learn the rules, or at least get good enough at playing the game to make it work for you, make sure you take the time to show somebody else how to play the game too. It's gonna take other people to teach you, to show me as you grow. There are things I want to get into in my business that right now I don't have any experience in, right? So at some point, I'm gonna have to find somebody or some source of information that's credible and trustworthy to learn the new rules to the new games that I want to get into in my life, right? So that never really stops on this journey. You're never gonna really stop learning. But once you get good enough to start making these things work for you, you've learned the moves of the game enough, right? Then show somebody else. Help someone else get started playing. That's going to benefit not just that person, but you. Because one of the benefits of teaching people something, if you actually do it, right? Not one of those people who teach something that they don't do. But if you're teaching someone like a mentor or a consultant, and you're showing someone how to do something that you actually do or other successful people actually do, it's going to benefit you also. It's going to reinforce the rules and moves in your mind. It's also going to sharpen you up a little bit, because sometimes when you go to teaching someone else steps that you learned months or years ago, right? There are maybe certain details or principles or elements that go along with that step that maybe you forgot or maybe you overlooked, right? So when you go to help someone else, even just one person at a time, you're going to sharpen yourself. Teaching that person, showing that person, mentoring that person is going to make you better at it as well. It's going to reinforce what you have learned, remind you of things that you may have forgotten, right? So don't just learn and keep it to yourself. Make sure each one teach one. I still believe in that. We used to say that when I was young. You know, the older dudes used to say that to us growing up, each one teach one. I still believe that that's how it should be. Each one should teach one. At least one. Right? If someone helped you, you didn't have it all. You didn't get it all for free. Right? So help someone else get it too. Right? So that's what it is at Legit Hustle. It ain't just about you making money or how much money you can make. I also want to see the people that I may have the privilege or opportunity to impact through doing this. I also want to see people like us have positive impacts on our communities and society as a whole. Right? You can have fun, you can do these things, you can work for yourself, you can enjoy doing it, you can make a very good living for yourself and your family doing things that you love. Being a legit hustler, getting it on your own, being self-sufficient, right? So what good would all that be if we didn't also make sure that the place that we live, our surroundings, did not equally, or at least somewhat benefit from those things. So with that being said, man, y'all know what's up, man. Again, appreciate you for tuning in. Just now getting back to the Street Money series. Hope y'all enjoy it. Now I got to stop recording, chop this up, throw some stuff on here, and I check y'all later, man. Peace. And y'all know my motto, hustle smarter. I'm out.